If you're thinking about moving from California to Tennessee, you probably have been asking about 50 questions running through your head right now. Will my kids adjust? How bad is tornado season? Are we overpaying for homes? What is it actually like to live here? I'm sitting down with Casey today, who made that exact move from California to Nashville suburbs, and she's going to answer the questions most agents won't talk about. The stuff you won't find on a Google search. The things she wished someone had told her before she moved here. So, if you're relocating from out of state, or even if you're just curious about what it's really like to live here, stay with me, because at the end of this conversation, you're going to know exactly what to expect. Okay, Casey, let's dive right in. You moved here from California about how long ago?
It's been about 2.5 years.
Okay, so I know you had a lot of questions prior to moving, so I've pulled together some of the most common questions we hear from families who are relocating from California, Chicago, even New York. So basically anywhere outside of Tennessee. And I'm just gonna ask you straight up,
Okay.
what was one thing that you wish you'd known?
Probably my top answer would be weather. Definitely weather.
First question, that's exactly where we're heading. Everyone asks, how bad is tornado season really?
I think it's perspective, to be fair. We had never considered tornadoes prior to moving here. I think I'd looked on some social media page and said, oh, looks like there was a tornado there one time. Okay, wow, that's weird. And then we moved here. Coming from Northern California, you don't really weather watch. So,
And you weren't here for the 2020 tornado.
no.
Okay.
We moved in 23. So we just weren't in the habit of weather watching. It was, if it's raining, it's going to rain today. If it's hot, it's going to be hot. The weather is not bipolar as Tennessee weather can be. So it doesn't flip-flop. So our first tornado season was a little rough in the sense that we didn't even know we were in it because we were completely clueless. And then we kind of went, oh, this is definitely a thing. What do we do now?
This is what it is. So as somebody who's kind of grown up, and like I'm not originally from Nashville itself, but from definitely this area of the country, it's very normal for us. We know that when the weather is getting ready to go from 30 to 70, you better be paying attention to what's going on. I think the plus of a tornado over some of your other massive weather situations is you do get a heads up, right? For the most part. And granted, it's not going to hit every single neighborhood that is here. But I mean, you kind of know it's coming.
What do they say? You need to be prepared and not scared.
Weather
aware. And if you are, you're fine. Honestly, coming from California, most people know that wildfires are the big thing that we struggle with. And I will say with tornadoes, it's wildfire comes through and it could take out a whole community, a whole neighborhood. Tornadoes are very spotty and you are definitely warned. We have, like, where we live, we have sirens just across the way. So they work, we can hear them. But you also have alerts on your phone.
weather radio.
Yeah, 100%. We have a safe space at our house. But honestly, a lot of it is very precautionary. It doesn't, since we've been here, we've definitely gone into our safe space.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we had a near miss.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years ago now, I think? The one that hit Hendersonville? A very near miss. We were less than a half a mile from, like, where it actually came through. I mean, it is.
It's a thing.
It is a thing. It is sometimes scary, but at the same time, it's like we were very prepared for it. We'd known all day long that, there was a potential for tornadoes that afternoon. So we got our safe space.
Yeah.
Prepared for when and if it happened. Yeah.
And it will happen. I mean, I guess that's the thing, is it's going to happen and we're getting ready to head into spring.
Yeah.
And
that's the biggest time, I think. If we have an off winter, right, anytime we're transitioning from fall to winter or winter to spring is when it tends to be the worst. So yeah, we're definitely
gearing up,
heading right into it. All right. So another big question that we get is hurricanes. I know we're not connected to the ocean, but yes, do we get damage off of hurricanes, or are we far enough inland that it's not really a concern?
So in my experience, hurricanes, again, we don't do that in California. However, here in Tennessee, we're going to get some severe weather. We're definitely going to get some rain. We're going to get some wind.
Yep. Especially if it has hit the Gulf, like if the hurricane comes in Gulf side, Alabama, Louisiana, that Pensacola, Florida area, if it's hitting that area, it's naturally, we're going to get some severe weather off of it in the following days.
Yeah. And I will say, when it rains. Like, it's not a little bit.
No.
It's a lot of it. And it's for days. And I never understood flash floods.
Okay.
Until moving here. I don't understand. How can you, it's been raining. Like, how does a flash flood even work? Until I experienced one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I get it now.
Okay.
Because it happens fast and the creek rises real quick.
Okay, so continuing on this topic.
Okay.
Let's talk summer.
It's hot.
Mainly humidity.
It's humid.
How does that really compare to California? It's because I've only been to California one time, and the entire time it was fall. And the entire time I was out there, I'm like applying lotion like a mad person. And
okay, so I'm a California native my whole life, and I have family all over, and everyone would come visit California and say, oh, it's a dry heat. And I'm like, what is a dry heat? What does that even mean? Until I moved to the South, and when it's humid, you can feel the air. You wear the air.
It's a warm blanket.
And I was like, oh, I get it now. Yeah. It's swamp,
but it's
great for your skin.
Really good for your skin.
And I love it now. Is it July and August are rough? It's you just look a little melted. But
the reason why the lake is great.
Yeah. You just learn ways to cool off. I will say running your AC cuts the humidity. So a lot of times it's maybe really hot outside, but you'll go into a restaurant per se, or a mall, or any indoors.
I mean, you know me all summer. I'm like carrying a jacket or
you have to carry a jacket, which seems like counterintuitive because it's so hot outside that as soon as you get inside, everyone's got the ACs cranked.
All right, so let's transition. We just got out of winter.
Yep.
Snow and ice. Most importantly, how do you feel like the cities handle winter here?
So I love our Tennessee winters because where we're at in Wilson County, if we get snow, it's not going to blanket us with feet and, several inches. It's going to be a little bit, sticks around for a few days, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Everything's going to shut down, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Kids stay home. We get to have a snow day, but you're talking like 3 or 4 days. It's not impacting us. In Mount Juliet, they will brine the roads. Everyone's very, very, very aware the snow's coming. Most people look forward to it, unlike people who are up north who probably dread it a little bit more because the snow's not going anywhere anytime soon.
For sure. I mean, again, somebody who's kind of been around this type of snow-ish, the ice is the worst.
Yes.
Here, we just came out of like an historic ice storm. So if you do come visit Nashville this spring and we take you out and about and you're like, oh, the trees look very broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first ice storm.
We came out of it is by far probably the worst ice storm I've seen my entire life. And like I've been around ice storms all of my life. And it was bad. And there were some parts of Nashville that, lost electric for weeks. But we survived. And
again, I didn't understand why I was like, okay, what's an ice storm? What does that mean?
Yeah.
And then I saw it, and although it is absolutely beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's so incredibly dangerous. And our rain camera actually caught my husband slipping off our porch because he's going to go walking out there. You're not going to go walking out there.
No.
But the trees are beautiful, but it does cause severe damage.
I mean, there's parts of town I feel like that look worse than when tornadoes actually hit.
Yesterday, I was in East Nashville, and they are still working on cleaning up.
Okay, we're going to get into the cost of living in just a second because I know that's a huge factor for many families moving here. But before we do, Casey is going to share something about property taxes that most people don't realize until after they've closed on a home. So stay with us because this one matters. And if you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and subscribe We do videos like this every week, breaking down what it's actually like to live in Nashville suburbs. All right, so let's talk money because that's what everybody wants to know about. Is the cost of living here really lower than it is in places like California, Chicago, and New York? So,
Yes. Short answer is yes.
Yes.
The first thing that jumps to mind is honestly something that you have a Tesla, but most of us use on a daily basis is gas.
Yeah.
I could not believe when we moved here to be paying $2, $3. I mean, it's obviously a lot less now, but when we left California, we were paying over $5 a gallon. I was literally going to the gas station though and taking pictures of how much my receipt was and the price per gallon and sending it back home to California. And everyone was just like mind blown. We didn't have to take out a second mortgage to put gas in your vehicle.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Registration too.
Yeah. Big thing here. I feel like that's even went up in the last couple of years.
I will take it all day long.
And it's still, quite a bit less. All right. So what about property taxes? That's the big question I think that I get a lot from people moving to Sumner County. So how does Sumner County and Wilson County kind of compare when it comes to property taxes over like what your experience was in California?
So in California, it's calculated differently, but you can kind of just rule of thumb figure about 1% of your purchase price is going to be
So there's no county tax assessor that comes in and reassesses your property value?
It can be reassessed.
Okay.
But as anything, it's like most things when it comes to California, you're going to pay more.
What about homesteading? Is homesteading a thing in California? These are questions my Tennessee brain wants to know.
Homesteading, tell me more about that.
So like in Florida, which we don't have a ton of people moving from Florida to here, and I think Texas is even the same way. You can file for a homestead, meaning that that's your primary property.
Okay.
And you get a discount on your taxes because of that.
I don't believe so. I don't recall.
It's a form you had to fill out every year.
I did not fill out that form, so I'm going to say no.
So we also do not have homesteading here in the state of Tennessee. So that is a big question that I get from people moving from other states that do homestead. Your home is already kind of your homestead here. So I know current buyer that I have under contract is coming from the Chicagoland area. And we were talking this property tax back and forth thing the other day when we were out at the house looking at it because it's under construction. And they mentioned, so they are currently living in like a $500,000 townhouse in Chicago. They're paying roughly around $15,000 in property taxes a year.
Okay.
They're purchasing just below the $900,000 mark here. And of course, with new construction, you don't really have great estimates, but the title company is estimating that their property taxes are going to be south of $3,000 a year. So that's a huge difference.
That's huge.
Huge difference, which I feel like is one of the big driving factors.
And I recently had some New York buyers, same thing. They all day long. And we talked about how different counties in Tennessee have different
tax brackets.
And they were in a little bit higher tax bracket. And they said, we don't care.
Yeah.
It's still far less than what we're paying in New York.
Correct. So what about utilities, especially like your summer months and your winter months when you have the crazy swing?
Yes. So in California, true story here, we could not afford to put our air conditioner lower than you're gonna die, 76 degrees.
Yeah, we would.
And we had solar. So when my kids would come in and say, it's so hot, we would say, go swim because you have a pool.
Right.
Because it was just so expensive. We're talking, you're getting an $800 electric bill with solar. And you just, I don't want to spend my extra money on that. I want to be cool. But whereas when I came here, we keep it, 68.
Yeah.
65.
So let
and it's very affordable.
Let's talk. We just came out of winter. And so this is a big topic in Sumner County right now. They just raised the natural gas rate in the county for gas. And I wouldn't say most, a big chunk of our homes here are on natural gas. Are you on natural gas?
Yep.
And so with that, we all saw not only did we come out of like the coldest month we've had in a really long time, but then we had that raise on top of it. So our gas bill, which this was gas, our water, our sewer, and our trash was all on this bill. It was like $300 for the month. I don't think it's terrible.
Okay, but if you're local, you might grumble because it's gone up.
Right.
But somebody who's used to paying, that didn't include my trash, that didn't include my water, that was nothing because everything you paid a different company for. I would have loved that bill.
Yeah.
So although here, you might be grumbling and upset because, it's gone up a little bit. We're like,
because it went from like it went from being in like the mid twos.
Yeah.
To like the low threes.
Yeah, which is a significant jump.
Right.
But perspective being, I still am like, I'll pay it.
Yeah. I mean, and we used the crap out of our gas fireplace. Like, we weren't easy on it.
And we do too here because it's so different.
Yeah.
We don't have to limit our usage. Or, if we used to host parties where people can't sweat.
Yeah.
And we lived in a very comfortable, nice neighborhood where a lot of people, everybody had solar, everybody had pools, and the grumble was the same all the time as everyone's just the power was ridiculously
For
priced.
sure. Okay. So now this is a hot topic right now.
Okay.
Insurance costs. Winter storms, tornadoes, all of the things. Insurance costs, yes, has went up, I think, across the nation.
Probably. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I would say so.
I still feel like you can get a home insured in Tennessee I don't really have that much experience in other states.
Yeah. So our experience, again, and there's a little kind of disclaimer, one thing that Californians have to deal with is the forest fires.
Yes.
So that definitely impacts, and that is something that is not nationwide. But getting insurance in California it was always expensive. It just became extremely expensive.
Yeah.
My dad lived in the foothills, had a cabin, beautiful home on 5 acres. AAA dropped him.
Yeah.
Another company dropped him because they just couldn't afford to insure him. So the insurance that the last quote, and he too moved out here, is $10,000 a year.
Oh.
And that's, your home's protected, but
Again, that's something that's escrowed in, so I don't really know my exact cost.
I don't know
but
mine either. But
I do not. I mean, even flooded, like if you find, so there are homes in Nashville and Middle Tennessee all over that are inside like the flood map. And so they require flood insurance in addition to homeowners insurance. And I don't think that I've even seen a flood policy that high.
No.
Like
Mm-mm.
here in Tennessee.
Yeah. And that isn't even a flood policy. That's just your flood policy would be in addition to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the number one burning question that we are hearing and seeing. Are we overpaying for homes in the Nashville suburbs right now?
We were actually, Tim and I were just talking about that this morning or yesterday. And I feel like that's a really hot topic. It is, people. And I feel like it depends on where you're coming from. Because I think, again, not to, there's this whole big move to come out to Tennessee, to relocate to different areas. And there's a lot of people here who feel like their home values have gone up so much.
Have inflated our home prices.
Yes. And a lot of people coming from California have cash.
Yeah.
They've sold.
Yep.
They're looking to relocate here.
Yep.
So I think that is it depends on who you talk to with that one.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some.
So like pure data, I was looking at this the other day. So we are part of a nationwide team. So we have teams in California, we have teams in Texas, we have teams all across the country. One of the team leaders has a friend who's thinking about moving here, and he's already been in talks with a builder in Franklin. And the team leader's like, well, I think that they're just overpricing that house because they see 2 California people come in and they just think that they're going to buy it. As when, like, I'm looking at the data on the house, and I actually think it's probably underpriced.
Okay.
Compared to what has sold around it
Yeah.
in the last 2 to 3 years. Now, if we were to look 5 years ago, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
But I don't know. There's very few places in this country that property prices haven't raised drastically in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, COVID itself just sent everybody into a frenzy, and people no longer wanted to rent a home if that was going to happen again. I think they wanted to have their 4 walls be protected. So let's shift to neighborhoods, because that's where a lot of families get, which neighborhood did you focus on when you were looking? And what would you tell families to prioritize when they're looking at neighborhoods?
That's a good question. When we moved out here, we didn't know a soul. So we came out, we visited one time, decided this was the place for us. There was enough that enticed us. We truly fell in love. We chose Mount Juliet. So we rented for a little bit.
Okay.
And we really got to know the area. I didn't have an agent or somebody I could reach out to say, what about over here? We drove everywhere.
Yeah.
When it finally came time to picking our neighborhood, we knew what side of the town we wanted to be at. Providence area is very busy. That traffic that time of day.
Oh.
No, thank you.
Well, I think that's because you had been here for a few minutes at that point.
So when we first came and visited, we'd heard like, oh, there's traffic. And we're like, we're from California.
Yeah.
We're used to traffic. We were like, whoa, this is like getting from one end of town to the next, might even be an hour, which we just thought that was crazy for little old Tennessee.
Yeah.
So we quickly learned where we wanted to be. We did not want to be on the other side of 40.
Yeah.
For that reason, but we did want to be close to the interstate. So we weren't interested in new builds. We wanted an established older neighborhood. We've always had a heart for older homes.
I don't like sidewalks.
We don't have sidewalks, which when I tell people that we don't have sidewalks, they think we're like living in the sticks or something. What do you mean you don't have sidewalks? I'm like, we don't have sidewalks. They're like, where do you walk?
And that's very common in older neighborhoods across Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
Whether it be Sumner or Wilson, that is very common.
So our neighborhood was developed. We're the first phase, so it was like early 90s. So probably like late 80s, early 90s. So we don't have sidewalks. And a lot of the older neighborhoods in town do not have sidewalks. Now the new construction's going to.
Yeah, I know that's Sumner County, and I'm probably misspeaking here, but it definitely Hendersonville and Gallatin have made it a requirement inside city code for all the new subdivisions. You have sidewalks.
Yeah, I don't have sidewalks.
I am a sidewalk snob. Like, I need a sidewalk. It's just
me. We're sitting on, our property backs up to community space for our neighborhood. So we ended up having about half an acre. And we don't have a fence. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people.
A fence is different here from what I understand.
Fences are very different.
Because I have a fence, but not in the sense that you would have thought. Like, I think.
Yes, I don't say nobody. Most people where I grew up, I'm from Northern California. We all had wood 6-foot tall fences. Like if you did it, you wouldn't, there's just no reason.
Which most HOAs here, FYI, do not allow.
No. So when we first started traveling back to the Southeast, where's your fences? Like, where's your privacy? It just blew our mind.
So why do you need,
it's just the way it was. I've never thought about it.
FYI, YouTube people, always keep an eye out this window because you will get to see true Tennessee one of these days.
Yes, so we have the most amazing, darling little neighbor, Mr. Tom, and he rides his riding lawnmower all over.
Yeah.
So might do a cameo.
But that is why we don't need privacy here.
And honestly, though, that's one thing that we had friends come visit, and they're born and raised in California and they didn't get it. And they're like, how do you guys sit in your backyard? Because we do. We have a nice patio in our backyard. We have chairs we enjoy because we butt up to a tree. You just sit. And yes, my neighbors will come out and be on their deck, but they also might say, hey, do you want we're grilling out. Do you want a burger or something?
Yeah.
I feel like, one, it makes my yard feel much larger. I don't have to maintain it.
Yeah.
I had this beautiful green open space, but I also get to know the people that I'm essentially sharing it with.
You have that community feel.
100%.
And that's something that, I feel like we may not think about as much, but I know that we did a whole video on this, but I want your take one more time.
Yeah.
How do Sumner and Wilson counties actually compare for when someone is moving here out of state?
Okay, great question. So my husband Tim's an agent. He's on our team. And he had an out-of-state buyer call yesterday and was looking really hard at homes. Because to him, they all look the same, Wilson County versus Sumner County. And so the conversation really...
And really, when you start deep diving them a lot on Google, they even look the same because schools are very similar, crime rates very similar. All the things that we're not really allowed to talk about are all very just
It
even
just looks
keel.
like they're divided by water.
Right.
And so I kind of listened in on the conversation because we had done a video, and I thought you did a great job of explaining it. I think for me, the really big one, if you're wanting more, I live in Wilson County. I live in Mount Juliet. I love it here. I'm happy here. But if you're wanting more a lake life, a little bit, I would honestly say a little bit more laid back life, you're probably going to want to be on what we call the other side of the pond, the other side of Hendersonville, because when you're over there, there's just, the lake's always there. It's always there.
Yeah.
Eateries, homes, walkability. The lake is very much part of your everyday life. You see it and you don't miss it. Whereas in Mount Juliet, it's kind of up on a little bit of a peninsula.
Yeah.
And you have to be so if you like lake life, I really truly think you'd be happier in Sumner County.
Unless you're a hermit. But I mean, I think that's the biggest difference is
Very integrated.
Yeah.
I love where I live. It's
Yeah.
just, it's very different. The only time we go to the lake is when we go with her,
okay.
Sumner County.
So I know that we don't have a big commute, but I think we can talk about it.
Sure.
So is it as bad as people think commuting from, let's just talk airport.
Okay.
From here to the airport.
So from my house to the airport, depending on traffic, usually when people land, I say, text me when you land. I will wait 5 minutes and then I will get in the car and I just swing through. Don't expect me to get out of my car with like flowers and a sign.
Right.
I'm going to swing through and pick you up.
Right.
And it works. Might have to circle a time or two because I'm there too quickly or the flight's been delayed.
Yeah.
But it's really quick. And that's another reason why we chose where we live, because we have kids in college and we have to go to the airport quite a bit and we can be there 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes faster.
And we we're on the Hendersonville side of Gallatin, but we're close to that 386 corridor. And we're very much the same way. It's like, you know, when I fly to California to do a team leader event or something like that, Davey comes to pick me up, or when Davey was flying for corporate stuff, we would just text as we were landing, and I would leave the house and go pick him up, or vice versa. He would leave the house to come pick me up. And there's been times that he's had to wait on me. He's got to the airport. And like we hadn't tarmacked completely.
I've circled.
Yeah. It's
quite a few times.
So
yeah, it's so convenient.
Yes. And I think the commute is only really, really, really bad at either side of the lake when you live further away from those main corridors, right? 'Cause that's where the commute can get. And I mean, 40 can get backed up sometimes. So can I-65 and 386 where those meet. That can get backed up. But I still think like even driving into Nashville rush hour, and while it's not my favorite thing to do, but it's definitely doable. Like I can be from my house to Franklin, which during rush hour, driving completely through the city in an hour.
Yeah.
So you can completely cross Nashville in an hour. So
it's not fun, but traffic is never fun.
Buy a self-driving car.
I don't have one.
All right, so let's talk subdivisions.
Okay.
Do you feel like they're more close together here or more spread apart compared to California?
See, that's an interesting one for me because it wasn't, I think when you're relocating or you just visiting a place in general, you kind of have it in your head how it's going to be.
Right.
Okay.
Call all the time. I would like to have 5 acres in the city.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I can't give you that. So that's one of the reasons why, honestly, it took us so long to purchase a home.
Yeah.
Because one, we didn't want a new build, but we were surprised at how close together the houses were. Now, do I think it was always like that? No.
Right.
I think the influx of people that are coming and wanting to be Tennesseans has influenced that. Yes. I did not want to open my shutters and wave at my neighbor, be able to high five them, right? So I feel like in some of these new builds, they're a lot closer together.
Especially price point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, the higher the price point, usually the larger your lodge is going to be.
So again, that's why we leaned more towards older neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
Again, ours was starting to be developed in the 80s where you have a little bit more space. I do have neighbors on either side of me, but I would like a little bit of space. Mm-hmm. So neighborhoods, you can find, I guess the answer to the question is you can find both.
Right. Correct. Okay. All right. If someone wants a strong community feel and they actually want to know their neighbors,
Yes.
what areas of town, Wilson, either one, what areas do you feel like they should focus on the most?
So I feel like moving from California to Tennessee, I felt like Tennessee in general felt more inviting, and there was already a culture established of community, politeness, friendly. We got plugged into a church right away, and I will say that made all the difference in the world. And there is a weird Bible Belt. I mean, there is a church on every corner. So for us, that was how we really established finding our community. But I think for anybody who's a transplant, you're going to have to plug yourself in.
Yeah.
But I think the culture here is so inviting and so polite. Like I was telling Natalie coming here when I talked to a couple other California transplants and said, you know, what were some things that struck you? And all of us, one of the top 3 was like, everyone was so nice.
Yeah.
Everyone was so polite. And when you're not used to that, not that Californians are rude but it's just, it starts very little. Like people would hold my doors and I would just, oh, okay. Or someone would be really nice or allow me to cross the street, or just, it's a little things, but when you're not used to those,
let you merge in traffic.
let me merge. Yeah.
Wave at
It
you when
impacted
you
me,
merge.
though, right? Like just during, this is how we knew like severe weather was a thing, is we were at Hobby Lobby and my daughter and I went to leave and they're like, be safe. And I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And but everybody will tell you when weather's kind of getting a little wonky, be safe. I just feel like it's like culturally part of this area in general. And I mean, you've been here longer than me, so maybe you can attest to that. But
I mean, it is a way of life here. I'm sure that there are plenty of people who come here and never get to know their neighbors or never connect or never plug in. But that was a choice I feel like that they made versus just
people will come knocking on your door,
Yeah.
and they will bring you something, or
Yeah.
you know, my parents moved out with us as well, and he broke down on the side of the road and he texted me because it had an impact. And he said, I wasn't sitting there. He didn't have time to like respond, call, or do anything. Somebody picked him up and took him where he needed to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Back to snow weather season. If you do run off the road here in the snow with the ice, just wait about 5 minutes and there's going to be some guys in some big trucks that come driving by. They will pull you out of the ditch.
Yeah.
No joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll happen.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It makes it special.
And some days you're going to take a coat when you leave in the mornings, and you're going to be in short sleeves by that afternoon.
Yeah, it's just wonky. Like, I don't know. And the only reason I say that is because I had to. So in Tennessee, again, I'm talking about weather. You can't not talk about weather in Tennessee, but it rains in the spring and summer, like the whole time. In the fall.
In the winter.
But no, girl, like it rains so much here in the summer. And that was something I had to tell my brain when I would get dressed to look outside. It's not cold. It's not cold. Because it's not cold. It's a warm rain.
As your husband.
My husband says, it's
a warm rain.
And that really threw us for the longest time.
I don't think you hear of the people talking about Florida's rain and the fact that it rains every afternoon. When we do get that humidity coming in and it's super humid. So I have a friend born and raised in Nashville her entire life, and she has always told me, and it's led true, if we hit 90 before 11, it's going to rain that afternoon. But it's 100% true. So you can literally, and this, again, you think I'm crazy. You could be standing right here and be raining here and then right here. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it like rain across the street.
The windiest thing. And so I know it's silly to come back to weather, but it really impacts your daily life. We had to teach our daughter how to drive in the rain, because it's not a little bit of rain. In California, it doesn't come down. Where I'm from, it does not come down like the sky doesn't open up. Learning that, if there's lightning outside, you probably need to not be on the water.
Thunder,
yeah. So it's a whole thing. Like that's probably like, I know it's
And or a pool. Don't need to be a pool.
Yeah. Like and you watch the weather. You have the apps on your phone that's going to tell you, but with all that, it's not to scare anybody. We love it here. The humidity will do something for your hair. I mean, you just kind of embrace it.
Humidity spray. I mean, there's a reason they sell it.
So I have a friend who's coming to visit this summer. They're going to be in Lexington, Kentucky, and then come down and check out Nashville. And so I had warned her. I was like, and they're coming in July. It's going to be swampy. Like
even in Lexington, it's going to be swampy.
Yeah. And I said, you're used to a dry heat. And she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, it's a wet heat here.
Yeah.
Honestly, those are like the weather is probably something that has had one of the biggest impacts.
Would you move here again?
Yes, I would. We love it here. I love how green it is. Okay, back to the weather thing. If it rains all the time, it's green, right? So
except for in the winter.
Except for in the winter, it's really kind of ugly. But
the grass is still green.
But how lush it is.
Right.
And that was something that I think when you come east all along the East Coast, as somebody whose summers are hot and brown,
yeah,
I just couldn't be like, it's so green. It's so green. And that's honestly, Tennessee's beautiful. I think that's another thing is it surprised me how beautiful it was. All the rocks. I mean, we didn't talk anything about how rocky it is.
Good old Rocky Top.
It's not called Rocky Top for nothing. But it makes these beautiful rock formations. So it's gorgeous now. It can be a pain when you're trying to plant flowers sometimes.
Or put in a pool.
Or a fence. But it does make for beautiful scenery.
Casey, thank you for doing this. I know a lot of families are going to find this really helpful.
There's so many things that I had wished I knew before moving out here. And I wish I'd had something like this before I moved.
So you're right. If you're thinking about relocating to Tennessee, or you're already in the process of trying to figure out which area fits your family best, we're here to help. You don't have to figure this out alone. And if you found this helpful, make for sure that you subscribe. We're doing more videos like this, covering everything from neighborhood tours to lifestyle and what it actually costs to live here.
But seriously, drop your questions, thoughts, comments below. We're happy to answer them. We'd love to hear from you.
And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.